Day 2 of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was underway in Onion Lake today. Another chance for Aboriginals to share their stories about residential schools and how the devastating effects they had on their lives. William Robertson brings us that story.
The hearing was not just about grieving on the past, but also to celebrate their heritage and to look into the future.
To perhaps break that circle of abuse, that circle of being just about legislated out of existence, that circle of us being controlled by someone else, utilizing their own values, utilizing their own beliefs, their own language. We need to go back to ours.
For the chief, an important day to not only educate about residential schools, but of the culture that was lost along the way.
It's a very, very proud moment for me because I deal with a lot of our community members, and the work that my wife and I do is reclaiming our indigenousness and creating that awareness of a people that was once proud with their culture, identity, spirituality, the language. We need to educate our people.
It was a time to reflect and share past experiences, but also to go back to old traditions that were once held.
We have to retain and we have to go back to our own. We've tried the Western therapies. The traditional therapeutical systems do not work. It's been demonstrated, it's been researched. We have to reclaim what was ours once. It always has been here, we just put it aside.
The National TRC hearing is in late June and will be a place for Aboriginals to find strength and hope together as they reflect on the past. William Robertson, Newcap News.
There's beautiful spring weather in the border city, and the arrival of warmer temperatures means motorcycles are making their seasonal return. And there are some safety issues to keep in mind. Elise Cox has more.
Just because roads are free of snow and ice doesn't mean there aren't hazards to look out for. Spring poses a new danger with the return of motorcycles.
Because they're small, they're much harder to see, and if they're in tight to a vehicle, so they could easily be missed and be cut off and run off the road that way. And
our border city streets cause a particular problem at this time of year.
This time of year, before the streets are cleaned especially, there's a lot of dirt and gravel on there, so it's sometimes a little tougher for them to ride.
Alan says in the summer, motorcycle accidents make up a large portion of motor vehicle collisions.
I've responded to calls of such, and wearing the gear is extremely important.
Along with the proper clothing, a helmet is essential to every motorcyclist.
You need a helmet to ride a motorcycle. Whether it's a dirt bike, street bike, or even an ATV, it's law now, so you need a helmet.
And not any helmet is fit for the roads.
It is illegal to wear a helmet without a DOT sticker, regardless if it's a less inexpensive or an inexpensive helmet to a high-end helmet, they still need DOT.
RCMP are also enforcing the use of helmets on motorcycles and making sure that they have the proper markings. Any aftermarket helmet spotted by the RCMP can be issued a ticket and discontinued use of the motorcycle until a certified helmet is purchased. Elise Cox, Newcap News.
A border city school raised close to $12,500 for the MS Society through its annual Read-a-thon. And as David Semchism reports, students learned some life lessons along with their extra reading.
They may be little, but students at Winston Churchill are making a big difference for those suffering from MS. It was a hats-off celebration for reading and raising money for the cause.
Usually every day, Miss Brand, my principal, always says, take your hat off, but not today.
The fundraising is fantastic. Out of the 3 years, this is the year-breaking total sort of thing, and we've raised $12,465.
Over the past 3 years, the students raised close to $32,000 by accomplishing their reading goals.
The goals are set up individually for each child, so if they want to read with a parent, if they're too young to read on their own, so it would be a certain time limit for them to read at home with a parent reading to them, or else if they're just a beginning reader, if they can get through a small book, then that's what they will do.
For each fundraising level, there are prizes and challenges to reward the students, Teachers had fun dressing up, and this teacher had to kiss a lizard. But for one of the top fundraisers, it's helping the people that's his prize.
It's sad for the people that have MS. They can't walk, they can't do the usually things that we do.
Braden read his way to $313, but it was this little girl that had the top donation amount of more than $500.
I asked my mom, my grandparents, and my auntie and people at church if they could sponsor me.
For the local MS Society, the Readathon is an important way to teach the next generation about the disease.
The MS Readathon is so essential in that it's really for many children the first exposure that they have to learning about what MS is and having an opportunity to have their part in doing something to help people who are affected by this terrible disease.
The MS Readathon has been going strong in Canadian schools for more than 35 years, raising more than $40 million for research and services. The event engages kids to get involved with the community, but also develops their reading skills. David Semchism, Newcap News.
Embracing differences and learning about others is all a part of growing up. And on this week's Beyond the Classroom, we find out how one local school is creatively teaching cultures from across the globe.
So this is what natives essentially used to live in, right? This was their house. So that's what you'll be making.
Arts and crafts for a cause.
We've done anywhere from Italian to Ukrainian. Today they're doing Aboriginal. So just studying around the world, and yeah, the students just love it.
On tap today, teepees. Each student shows their own creativity.
This is a ninja sign, star, rain, fire, smoke, water, or blood.
But all understand they're learning more than just how to glue beads and play with pastels.
We learn about different cultures and make stuff that they do in their culture.
This is the 6-year mark of Cultural Club, with as many as 90 students taking part in the lunchtime activity.
It doesn't really matter what we're studying. For the most part, they seem to love Cultural Club.
The plan for this project to be put on display for classmates to see. But Brody has another idea when he takes his teepee home.
I might put my Lego guys in it.
Get your questions about college answered during program information sessions at Lakeland College. There are sessions running throughout March. Learn more at lakelandcollege.ca/info sessions.
Coming up, how does your local hospital compare to others across the country? A new online tool ranks hundreds. That story after the break.
Stocks and oil prices brought to you by Spectrum Restoration. When disaster strikes, don't wait. Call the professionals at Spectrum Restoration, a certified member of the Canadian Disaster Restoration Group.